Welcome to Abnormal Psychology's video lecture about sexual variance, abuse, and dysfunction. It can be difficult to define some of the boundaries of normality and psychopathology in the areas of sexual variance, abuse, and dysfunction. There hasn't been a whole lot of psychologists who have devoted their efforts into this type of research. But sexuality is a major component of our lives, whether we want to admit it or not. Every culture and every person has their own theory of sexuality, whether it be homosexuality, heterosexuality, transgender, etc. What we think is normal may not be normal to somebody else. Our families, our society, our partners have all shaped our attitudes and behaviors. Paraphilias involve a person who has a recurrent, intense, sexually arousing fantasy, sexual urge, or behavior that involve a non-human object, the suffering or humiliation of them or someone else, or with a child or a non-consenting adult. The DSM recognizes 8 specific paraphilias: fetishism, transvestic fetishism, voyeurism, exhibitionism, sexual sadism, sexual masochism, pedophilia, and fraudurism. There are more, but they are rare, and they can all be found in the DSM-5. Researchers have found that people with paraphilias all have their own explanations as to why they do what they do. It could be an abusive childhood. It could be that they have an extremely strong sex drive, issues with dependence on others. There are all kinds of reasons. Treatment usually occurs behind bars because many people with paraphilias are also sex offenders. Gender dysphoria is a diagnostic group of classifications that have to do with gender incongruence. This happens when someone has a discomfort with his or her own sex-relevant physical characteristics or with their natural-born gender. So, a male feels as if he should have been a female and he wants to have his penis removed, or a female may feel that she should have been born a male, and so she takes testosterone injections and tries to grow a penis. In children, the most common way that a boy deals with this problem is through homosexuality. There were lower rates of this with girls. Again, everybody has their own theory and issues as to how and why this happens, and it's usually very individualistic. It can be treated through psychotherapy or surgical sex reassignment. Sexual abuse is also a part of this category as well. This involves physical or psychological coercion, or at least one individual who cannot reasonably consent to the contact. The abuse includes pedophilia, incest, and rape. It is included in this category because there are numerous links between childhood sexual abuse and other mental disorders. Incest is culturally prohibited, meaning that it's not accepted. This is a sexual relationship between family members, and it's difficult to estimate what the causes are because it rarely gets reported. Rape is described as a sexual activity that occurs under actual or threatened forcible coercion of one person by another. Statutory rape means that the victim is under the age of 18 in most states. Researchers tell us that across history, rape is traditionally most frequent during and following wars. A majority of the cases of crime of men against women, but women have certainly been charged with rape. There are controversies about rape because researchers really don't know what causes it. Is it about aggression? Is it about power? Is it about sex? Regardless, it can be very violent, and it is bullying. It's intrusive violation of someone's boundaries. Sexual dysfunction is also included in this section because of the impairment for sexual gratification and the problems that it can create in relationships. Men can experience a delayed ejaculation, an erectile disorder, a premature ejaculation, or a hypoactive sexual desire disorder. Women can experience an orgasmic disorder, pelvic pain or penetration disorder, or a sexual interest and arousal disorder. Both can experience a substance or medication-induced sexual dysfunction as well. Regardless of your sexuality or your experience in this area, this chapter really gives us some sensitive information to consider. Everybody has problems, but how many of us have had issues because of something we've discussed in this chapter? Something that we've never really discussed out loud. It really gives us something to think about.